I was speaking to somebody tonight who has just gone through 2 years of horrendous suffering, and they were talking about how they're quite terrified that they're going to develop a mental illness like their parent had. And the suffering has to do with what happened to their parent. And it was interesting as we were talking, because something that I pointed out to them they hadn't observed was that they've just been, they're really scared of having a breakdown, of suffering a mental illness that involves a kind of collapse. And they've just gone through utter hell for 2 years straight, and they haven't collapsed. So they're damn well strong. Like, that's incredible strength right there. And they hadn't noticed this. And it's not because they're a fool, because they're absolutely not a fool by any measure. We all do this. We fail to really pick up and interpret, which is a true interpretation, the strengths inside us that are showing themselves all the time. It's like an implicit thing, so we don't notice it. It would make a great difference in our lives if we got a bit better at interpreting our strong points and the things that rightly give us hope and give us confidence and optimism, the strengths that are showing themselves in our lives, the strengths to avoid the bad things, the strengths to make the good things happen, the causes for hope. We often just absolutely are blind to them and ignore them, and so we suffer. Like this person's suffering with all this anxiety about a future potential suffering that may not happen. It's like they're paying interest on future suffering, but they're paying interest on future suffering that may never happen. And in fact, if it's a matter of, stress, speaking crudely, is something that brings about mental illness. If you've got a predisposition, it might never happen. It's about, that's nature, that genetic predisposition, but then it's a matter also of nurture or environment, and how environment interacts with that, and stress at a simple level is what, sets it off. So it's if you're going to, unnecessarily get anxious, then you're increasing the stress in your life. And all you have to do to undo that stress is to recognize these massive strengths that are showing themselves in you. The fact that you've gotten through this terrible suffering and survived. And in some aspects, thrived, or at least gotten stronger, or at least shown incredible strength. So pay attention. Pay attention to the implicit strengths within yourself and the causes for hope. Why not do that?